All right, we might as well get started. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. We've got the strange camera angle. I haven't fixed up my monitors. Let's just say that. I've been a bit lazy. Haven't fixed up the monitors. Can't shove the webcam in at the appropriate height. So it's these socks from here. She looks really, really big compared to me. She's not usually like that. So, how's everyone going? Hopefully you're going very well. We're going to jump straight into it. I think I found an issue. I forgot to turn on my lighting. Oof. I'm relying on, the sun. I think I found a bug, but I'm not 100% sure. We're going to test it today. It has something to do with the sprints. What I want to do is create 2 sprints, double check that if I put items in one sprint, it doesn't appear in the other one. Now, the reason why I think this is a bug, and probably not a bug, is because I was just doing some random stuff on the weekend, and I noticed that 2 sprints had the exact same data. Now, it's plausible that I've literally just done that. I've just created a sprint, 2 sprints, and put in the same data, and it can happen. So, we're going to try and replicate that first. If it is a bug, it's going to be a critical bug. We're going to fix it tonight. We're going to fix it straight away. If it isn't a bug and I've done some weird thing where I've just created 2 sprints separate of each other and I've added in the exact same tasks and projects and all that kind of stuff, that's perfectly fine. We just move on. So, npm run prod. I'm just building up the latest environment. Ooh, Webpack CLI failed to load. Webpack.prod.js config. Oh, I might not have pushed some code. Required is not defined. Hang on. Alright, have I broken my package.json? I shouldn't have. Oh, I did npm run audit. Oops. Silly mistake. npm run prod. Yeah, failed to load webpack.prod.js config. Required is not defined. Now, have I been going npm run watch? I did this on my... I did this the other day. All right, @file webpack watch.js 119. Yep, that's all good and dandy. All right, what have I broken? Let's find out first. Saying what? Did we break require? Shouldn't have anything to do with the aliases we set up the other day. Webpack watch.js config require is not defined. All right, let's have a quick look. Let's get this fixed. Should use node externals in web app. All right, cool. node externals. All right, I'm just going to fix that up very, very quickly. Tell you what, I'm just going to cheat. Oh, all right. Yeah, no, I can see the issue. All right, so I've made a couple of changes for the Vite stuff. However, that has seemed to have broken this. All right, so the Webpack. I'll show you the change I've made. So we minimize everything. Let's just open up the NearBeach stuff. Let's scroll all the way down to the package.json. You'll see here type module. You're given, oh, it's not gonna give me the other options. But that is type module. I'll have to remove that. All right. So let's see what that was, and let's just find out how we can fix it up. So if I go into, now this needs to be in dev. Sorry, wrong one. Oh. So if I go into dev and I go into package.json, we can see the latest commits a couple of days ago. I'm just going to see those changes. We are only wanting to focus on the node stuff. So the package.json, you'll see here I've added in type module. And that's to get something to work with Vite. So we've got the Vite tests, so forth like that. At the moment, we'll slowly be migrating everything to Vite. Idea being is that's just going to replace everything in 0.32. Now at the moment, it doesn't want to compile if the type is module. Which means I probably have to write Webpack a little bit differently. Cause yeah. Okay. Stop it. All right. Give me a couple of seconds. Let's. All right, this section covers ability. All right, when using Webpack to build your application, you can pick from a variety of module syntax, including here ES6, COM.js, and AMD. While Webpack supports multiple syntaxes, we recommend the following: a single syntax for consistency and to avoid odd behavior/bugs. Okay, actually Webpack, force recommendation. Yep, all right, cool. So we'll probably have to change it to that style instead of using the require. Yeah, that's part of the common JavaScript. All right, this is fine. We can do this. All right, I just need to know where path and all that kind of fun stuff is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to comment them all out. We're going to write this down here. So we want to import, and I'm assuming this is going to be path like that, from webpack.common. Import webpack from webpack common, which means I can just put that up here like so. So that should be that one and that one. The view loader will be different. So that will be import view loader plugin from view loader, easy done. The min CSS will be import the mini CSS extractor code. Not that much. No, not that one. Should be like that. Actually, just one little tiny thing. I'm just going to copy that. I'm just going to go up here. Just going to search for it. So they've got the required in there. Seeing if they've got a import statement. Note that if you import CSS, all right, cool. Yeah, not what I want. I think now we're moving on to something completely and utterly different. All right, cool. They don't have an import in there whatsoever for that particular one, so I'm just going to have to guess that will work. We'll come across issues. So if this is the same, then that should be fine. In which case, then import the copy plugin. I don't know. Oh, it enters at this level. So we need to get rid of those two very, very quickly. So we'll just do that. And what we want to do is we want to go import merge from Webpack merge and then import common Actually, I don't think it's named. So I think that's correct. And we go into here. That's not going to be correct because it's going to call on itself. So I'm just going to delete that one line. So we haven't fixed that at all. That one might work. I don't think this one's going to work, but are we... Were we even using it? Yeah, we are using it. All right, cool. So what I want to do, import mini CSS extract plugin. Possibly. Import path from path, maybe. And this will be import webpack from webpack. Don't know, not sure. We'll find out in a second when I hit prod. No, I didn't like anything. Failed to load webpack prod config. Error, module not found. Cannot find module webpack common. All right. Did you mean to import? Yeah, we did mean to import this one. All right, that's easy fix. We just go back into here. What we're wanting to do is we're going back into the prod and we're just going to put the .js there. It's just one of the JS. All right, config. Syntax error. The request module Webpack does not provide an export name compressor plugin. So we'll find that out very, very quickly. We'll fix that up very, very quickly too. Okay, so that would be under here. So compressor plugin from, and this is where we got it. I think I've marked things up. I think it's just as simple as that. Yeah, and I'm going to get rid of that line. Should be that, view loader, webpack, path. All right, let's try again. Okay, syntax error, compression webpack plugin does not provide an export name compression plugin. All right. So is that meant to be like that? Don't know. Let's find out. All right. The requested module Webpack Common JavaScript does not provide an export name default. Okay, so going back into here now. Module export. All right, export default. I think I've just got to export this in a particular way. Yeah, I think I've just got to export it. Hang on. G. All right, cool. Don't know. All right, directory name is not defined. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so now it's saying directory name. This would be in the Webpack prod. All right, it would be from in here. All right. So it's saying directory name. All right. I don't know if that's meant to be path dot. It'll be path dot resolve. And what if I do path dot dir name? No, that's not correct. let's go back into Webpack. So Webpack ES6. So recommended import like that. I'm just going to go over here. What I'm going to do, Webpack ES6 split modules, or code splitting. So so we'll no longer need that. Oops. Development mode, entry, index, other modules, export. Yeah. And then we all join it up. Okay, give me a couple more seconds. I'm just going to go Webpack ES6. There we go. Webpack cannot use names. Let's scroll that down. In that case, you need to add this to your Webpack configuration. No directory name true. This will tell Webpack to replace directory name instances with the path of the module. All right, cool. That's what we need to do. Sweet. So that would be under common. So I'm just going to put node under, and we'll just put true. All right, cool. Didn't like it. Do I also need to do that in the Webpack prod? Probably. Let's just go node. Let's go directory name equals true. Whoops, I was meant to do something like that. Let's bump it like that. So directory name is not defined. All right, let's have a proper read. In that case, you need to add to your web config node. So Webpack related with the path of. Oh. He does have it there. Webpack config. Yeah, we don't have that. Cat, that's annoying. Okay. Still got the same error, also hot reload. No directory name, true. The directory name of the input file related to the context options. Webpack won't touch your code, which means you have regular Node.js driver. All right, let's change that to false. Let's try something random. Let's go false. Because I really didn't read what the user was trying to do. Still not defined. All right. Annoying as hell. What's with the prod mode production? We're merging all of that. We are moving to Vite. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Because yeah, the idea is we'll move to Vite or Vite. When we restructure all of this. What I want to do also, I kind of want to cheat. And then all I need to do something like that. This will be mode production. We'll just test that out. Module is not defined. Yes, I know. I didn't touch this one. Module exports. Let's merge, all of that. I'm just going to bump back over into this. Did we make any changes in this? No, we haven't. All right, cool. Just going to duplicate that tab. I'm just going to get rid of all of that because we don't need that. We're just going to go over here. We are going to have a look at the Webpack prod, and it is module.export. Sweet. We want to go over into the common. Yeah, it is just that piece of code. Yeah, it is just that piece of code. All right. Let's go into the documentation. Missing the S imports with the common JavaScript at the bottom. You have to have module exports equals API in which. All right, cool. Let's see. Let's scroll up here. Yeah, I've screwed up. All right, not a problem. What we're going to do, git reset hard, easy done. We're just going to wipe that away. We're going to run that, and we're like, all right, cool. It doesn't want to run because required is not defined. We're going to go back to the start. We're going to slowly do this again. So what we've learned is we need to import merge from Webpack merge. We're happy with that. And then we need to import common from, that would be the Webpack common JavaScript. We're happy with that. Now, our next issue is going to be like, hey, come on, the request module Webpack Common doesn't have a default export default. We're like, all right, cool. Yes, you're right about that. So we're going to go up here. We're going to go all the way down to the bottom. We're going to go export default module. I think it would be module. And then we get back to our required not defined setup here. So we can get through this very, very quickly. Yeah, I think it would be module because we want to export both and then it combines it in the other one. So I'm just going to do all of that and we're going to go import path from path where we're happy with that. Import Webpack from Webpack where we're happy for that. Import the Vue Loader plugin from Vue Loader, we're happy with that. Import the mini CSS extractor plugin from there. Yep, import the compression plugin from the compression plugin, and then import the copy plugin from there. Now the only one that doesn't work is this. I must have had a spelling mistake or something like that. Now it's working perfectly fine. So that's what we've done so far. Now it's saying module is not defined, which if I go back to our Stack Overflow, they're like export default and then like that. And I think I do have that. So export default module. And that should be picked up in here. Because we've got the common and we're happy with that. All right. Sorry. Line 14. Yes. All right. Seeing how they've set stuff up. So they've got the modules, they've got the required. Yeah, that should just work for us. Okay. Didn't expect this when I started streaming today. I don't want to have the thing where I have to constantly change this just to build it, and then it'll drive me nuts. I'm just gonna go git reset hard again. Screw all that. That noise. All right, so if we do npm run, let's say watch or prod or something like that, it fails. Do that because required is not done. And we know that is the case because of the type again. And if I get rid of that type, it should just work wonderfully. All right. Let me close a couple of these tabs. I don't think I need that. The thing is, I need this to run. because I'm not ditching 031 yet. If I was ditching it, being like, all right, cool, we're moving on. I'm just gonna run the tests and then I'll compile it manually and I'll just write some notes and stuff like that, how to compile it. Sure. But no, we're still got to support it completely, so there'll be some functionality built in. If someone wants to get something built in, I will allow it, and all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah. So. Why do I have it like that, you might be asking? If I go npm run unit test now, it's going to fail. It'll pass the first couple and then it'll start failing. Or I'm lying and it's making a fool out of me. All right. Maybe that's working. Oh, and we have an ad break. All right. Just wondering, because I was under the impression that we did that type module. Why did I do it? I was under the impression that I had to do it because of the unit tests and what we've done with the aliasing. Unless I've accidentally destroyed all the aliasing we done the other day. Oh God, how have I done that? Let's find out if I've done something stupid again. No, we've got the aliasing there, and then if we... Alright, no, I haven't done anything stupid. And why? And welcome back, everyone. We're just figuring out why I've done it like that. So originally I thought I had to do that because the unit test won't run, but I've just run the unit test and they ran perfectly fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go npm run prod, make sure that runs, and we're going to test the unit tests again. The end-to-end should be fine. Hey, how are you, 85 Filter? Long time no see. How have you been? Have you been well? So we've run that npm run and then unit tests. So there's a lot of unit tests that we're currently running, and we're going to get more and more and more over the time. And Prime Coda, how are you? Treats for socks. I think she can. She got up then, so yes, she does want treats. Let me. I'm gonna get the treats. I'll be right back. Alright, cool. Sorry, it took me a little while finding the treats. They were not in their treat spot. Alright, in your bed. No, in your bed. You don't stand in your bed and then fling out. And no, in your bed. Proper. In your bed. Yes, in your bed proper. There you go. You know what's happening? You've got to be in your bed. And how are you, Prime Coda? Hopefully you're going well. There we go. She does love those treats. Oh, Django HTMX. Well, I have not tried the HTMX stuff yet. How is it? I haven't actually looked at any documentation around it or anything like that. So yeah, I'm interested in how it'll all sort of connect together. Oh, neat. I'm now curious. I'm actually very, very curious about this. All right, Django HTMX. With HTMX. All right, cool. I'm assuming this is it. We'll jump through most of the installation process because that should be the same. So you got HTML, the script, minified equals false. All right, yep. Ooh. Oh, that's for Ginger. Okay. Partial table view if page outdated. Wait for completion. Have you finished licking your bed? She's like, no, not quite. I'm gonna continue licking it more. Oh, no, you don't need to lick my hand. I'm gonna have to give this a shot. Like, I'm gonna have to jump into it. It looks like they're hijacked the polls tutorial, which is kind of cool. Good idea, because that way you get to compare it against the Django tutorial. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give that a shot. Anyway, this all passed. All right, so I was under the wrong impression about that type module. It's of course recompiled everything. And then let's just make sure everything works on the front end. So I'm just opening up a console, as you know, the web dev console, just to make sure I'm not caching anything. So who do we want to log in as? I think as, let's actually log in as an unprivileged user. Suck your tails on the thing. And we'll move the camera back there. All right, cool. There we go. So we want to go localhost. We're going to go in as a team leader. Easy done. I'll put on dark mode for everyone if I can get to my mouse. I'm going to also do that, making sure I've got disabled cache. Sweet. We want dark theme. Let's just update. Cool. Done. Let's find an object. Let's go into, let's say, project 2. I'm just going to go down here. I'm just going to, we've already got a sprint against it. I'm going to open up another sprint. I'm just going to, yeah, that name will do. Fine. So I'm happy with this. I'm happy with that. I'm just going to try and add an object to the sprint. So this is kind of hard. Socks is looking my hand at the same time. Oh. And then, oh, we've got duplicates. That's probably the bug yeah, all right. Did you see that, Socks? We've got duplicates. It's like, I don't care. Give me back your hand. I'm gonna lick it clean. She's only licking it for the crumbs. All right, we have a duplicate issue. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of the page. This, I'm going to say, is a critical issue. We need to fix this. So let's get that done right now. But yeah, otherwise, these two are completely and utterly separate. So the initial bug that, I should say, that sort of spun this off, where I was like, hang on a minute, these sprints have two different, two of the same objects in it. Yeah, I just didn't realize that there were duplicates in there, and that, yeah, I've just set that up like that. So we want to sprint duplicate objects. All right, cool. This is going to be method 1, log into NearBeach, 2, navigate to an existing sprint, 3. What do we want to do? If no objects, add an object for expected results, no duplicates, actual results, duplicate objects. Duplicate objects, easy done. Alright, so yeah, this will be a critical issue. This is beyond annoying. There's definitely a bug that's definitely submitted. This is definitely me. This is definitely part of the sprints. This is definitely part of, we've released 101. So it's 102. Let's create it. We're jumping into this right now and we're going to fix it up. Alright, so I'm going to do that so you guys can actually see the screen. Now, I will move this stuff to the left. I'm going to hit refresh. You'll notice that in here, that we actually contact the API. So we've already moved this one to the API calls. There was another issue that we had, and we're like, listen, it was going to be better just to move everything to the API, because the API can actually handle quite a lot of the stuff that we wanted to do when it was getting very, very tricky for us to actually deal with it in how we were. So in here, we can see that the object results, there are 5. We're not deduping stuff. So we've just got to dedupe pretty much this. Now, our results should be, yeah, should be fine. So what I want to do is I want to go Django rn deduplicate, because we should be pulling out the values and so forth like that. Yeah, it should be dot distinct. There we go, dot distinct. Yeah, we've got a values, sorry, not a value list. And it should be distinct. Will not give you duplicates. All right. So what we want to do, I'm just going to close all of that. That's perfectly fine. We're going to minimize everything. We're going to open up NearBeach. We're going to open up NearBeach, views, API. This will be part of the Sprint API view. Yeah, part of the Sprint API view. All right, Sprint API view. We're not worried about the get results until we get to the end. We are running a distinct there. But I think that's going to be premature. I'm just thinking what's going to be quicker. If we add everything in and then do one dedupe, or if we do a dedupe and then another dedupe, because at the moment what's most likely happening is it's meeting each of these conditions every single time, and that's why it's adding them in. Now, if I go down onto here and I type in, it's not going to. It'd be something like that. So all I'm doing, I'm cheating. I'm just gonna copy, just gonna paste. Because the results should. Nah, there aren't any. Oh, there aren't any list. All right. Oh, I don't like that. Don't think that's going to work. Yeah, that's not going to work. Not a problem. I'm going to breakpoint here. And what we're going to do is we're going to check what we can actually get done. So I'm just going to hit refresh. Here we are. So if I hover over this, you can see that I've got a list of dictionaries in there. Now, as you can see, this particular thing, yeah, it got picked up by all of them. All right, so what I need to do, Python, unique list of dicks. Like that. So Python 3. Oh, it's a little bit harder than that. Okay, I've mucked up somewhere. Definitely mucked up somewhere. Let's have a look at this code first. Let's go through. Let's code it. Let's see what it does. So we're getting the object results. So we get all the sprint object assignments. So we're making sure that we're pulling out everything of this particular sprint and each object that is connected to it. From there, we're getting the object assignments where it is going to be either a project or a requirement item. From there, we get the named tuples. Yep, all right, cool. Easy done. We've got the results. We set up. Yep, all right, cool. And that's just going through all the different permutations. Now, there's a couple of permutations in here which, yeah, it gets flagged for and all that kind of stuff. And then, yeah, we just go through the query permutations. Oh, right. Do all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah, where we annotate stuff. We annotate stuff on if we have it, if it's in a certain sort of thing. If the link relationship equals nothing, then we if it doesn't equal nothing, then it and then we just put in none. All right, cool, and then we distinct it here. But the one problem is it's adding it in because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5 out of the 6 times it's flagged in here positively. So, yes. And I thought I fixed this. All right. If I just hit refresh. Whoops. Give me a couple of seconds. Debug mode is still on. I'm just going to hit play. I'm going to undo that one. You can see in here that it is getting 5 objects out of there. If we actually open them up, you can see that the object ID task, we don't have any parent object. Sweet, that's perfectly fine. In here is going to be the same thing. We don't have any parent object. That's great. We don't have any parent object, and that's awesome. All right. All right. I know how to do this in C#. Just don't know how to do this in Python. It's like I need a specific thing. Alright. We're just going to see what task 2 is connected to. We're just going to go down. We're going to have a look at the linked object. Only connected to 2. All right. Now, I've just double checked the code in here when we do the object assignment. We do that or that. All right. And we're making sure both times that in the AND statement of everything that it is not deleted. Making sure that connection isn't deleted. And that follows through for all of those. Okay. Oh. I think the top one it'll fail, but because it's connected to a project and it's connected to projects and stuff like that, that's why a lot of those are appearing. All right. We need a unique list of dictionaries in this case. And something that won't slow this down drastically. Now, one thing I could potentially do is hash it and also do an ID check. So if something is different, it won't add it in. Okay. Now in Python 3, we can do this where we've got the VID of V for, I mean, we don't have really an ID in this. That's the problem. We've got the object ID, yes, but that can be shared between multiple different objects. Sorry, so you can have a project and a task, which are two completely and only separate objects, have the same ID. And my plan of attack in C# is essentially to create, I keep forgetting what it's called. It's like a .NET unique list of objects. And RSOP, how are you doing? Is, yeah, to use this sort of thing. So you got the original list, and essentially you create like a dictionary that has the hash in it, and then you just check to see if it already has that hash. If it doesn't, you add it in, and then you add it into that into that one. But I don't know if this has that. I'm guessing it doesn't. You're good? Oh, that's good to hear. I am trying to see if I can... Yeah, I'm good. I've just got a bit of a problem. I know how to solve it in C# because I've done something similar before. I just don't know how to solve it in Python. The idea is I've got a list of objects, and those objects are duplicating. So in C# what I do is I'll take a hash of that object and I'll put it in a key value list, and then I'll check to see if it exists. If it doesn't exist, then I'll put that object in the main list and make sure it's in the key value list at that point, I should say, not as early before, and then move to the next one and then check to the hash, put it in and be like, all right, cool. So yeah, going over mine. Don't worry, it's going over my head at the moment too. So the idea is I want to dedupe quite a lot of stuff, and I do have a distinct method already in the code I've got. However, the problem is I'm looping through different permutations, and that distinct method doesn't carry over those different permutations, which is very annoying. So I've just got to figure out how I can solve this. And there might be a smart way to do this without me having to dig into so much code. So I could look at a query list, turn the results into a query list, but the problem is there's no baseline for that query list. Yeah, all right, cool. That doesn't work. All right. You like code but do not know how to do it. This looks so cool. Oh, fair enough. We do recommend free code camp if you're actually interested. It's free. And that's completely up to you. But there are some really good resources out there. You just got to ask yourself, what do you want to build? And that sort of picks your language, what resources you'll learn and stuff like that. So, yeah. All right, so we could do keys. Yep, all right, cool. We could do a hash. Yeah, possibly. Give me 2 seconds. Python unique list. We're not going to put anything else in there. We don't want to get unique values and stuff like that. We definitely don't want to do something like that. Hang on. Python hash object to string. All right. You need to implement the magic method hash for your class. Built-in function hash. Okay, I don't know if this worked. Let's actually go into the playground. Let's actually see if it'll actually work. So we'll go Python 3 and we'll just hit a ad break on Twitch. So for those on YouTube, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch. That's just to stop pre-rolled ads because they suck. We tend to do this now. Well, we've been doing this for a while, but I've changed the screen last stream to do this. So yeah, hopefully everyone's going well. Yeah. I think I've got an idea. So what I could do is I could hash the values and then check if that particular hash exists in a lookup functionality. If it does, I move to the next one, who cares? Then I do the same with that one. Hash it. If it doesn't exist, I'm like, all right, cool. I don't have this value in my array. I definitely don't have it. I'm going to put my value in there, and then I'm going to put that hash value in that lookup array. That's how I'm going to tackle it for the moment. I'll put a to-do to see if there's better functionality out there, because there might be. I might have, yeah, something better out there to do that. Socks is looking very, you know, at the moment. She's used to the camera being up a little bit higher, so she tends to look at the camera. She sort of learnt that during COVID because I would constantly be looking at the camera during, you know, meetings and stuff like that. So, yeah. All right, I need Python 3, sorry, manage and then shell. And then what I want to do, import everything from NearBeach.models and hang on, from NearBeach.models, import everything. Got that around the wrong way. So what I want to do, let's go a equals project.objects. I'm just going to go filter. And I'm just going to go b equals a, and we're going to grab the first one. So we've got that. If I go b.hash, it ain't going to do stuff. Yeah, there's no hash in this. Need to implement the magic method hash for your class. We can't do that, but hang on. Django RM hash. So this person's asked, using Django ORM, can you create a unique hash for all possible combinations? Oh, we don't want all possible combinations. We just want to hash our data to be like, it's not in here. And we need it to be very, very quick. Given that all your options are Boolean characters and small numbers, you could pack them into a all right, cool. Not what I want. Hash results. Result set, there we go. Or query set. Is it possible to generate hash from a query set? I would comment, but I'm waiting for the 50 rep to be able to do that. It sounds like you're trying to cache a result. Yeah, yeah, I'm not trying to cache, per se. I just want to remove duplicates. Now, another thing I could do is there is a way to Yeah, but it'll be messy. I don't think this has hash. No. Okay. Okay, Python. Oh, sorry, sucks. Python list of objects dedupe over multiple fields. It's going to look ugly. And that's the problem. All right, if we open up this, yeah, that's the problem. And yeah, I don't want to do that. All right. Alright, the set list of objects will only remove duplicates if you know what a duplicate is. That is, you need to define the uniqueness of an object, which will be across all fields. In order to do that, you'll need to make an object hashable. You'll need to define both hash and EQ method. Here's how, though you'll probably only need to, alright, cool. Here's how to implement EQ. So, we don't know what the object is though. That's the other problem. We don't know what the object is. And if we go into here, let's put a breakpoint here. So let's put a breakpoint here once again. We'll hit that endpoint. I'll just hit refresh here. We'll hit it pretty fast. So there it is. And if I open it up, yeah, it's a dictionary. We don't know what it is. There's all the data in there and stuff like that. And I'm going to remove that breakpoint. I'm going to hit play again. And what I want to do is I want to put a breakpoint there. And I'm just going to refresh again. We're going to hit that breakpoint. As you see, this is a query set. And then it pulls out all the values, makes them distinct. So if we go forward, cool. So now we might have, all right, we don't have data in there. I'm just going to hit play again. We're going to go through all of this. And as you see, now we should, oh, list of nothing. Oh, hold on. Results are still none. Hold on. There we go. I'm just going to view this. That should be distinct. Give me a second. All right, we're pasting in. We don't have there. I'm now thinking that I'm overly complicating this, and I really should. do something like that. Okay, we're going to wait a second or two. I'm going to get rid of that breakpoint because I want to make sure if this works. I'm just going to hit refresh. We're still getting everything in there. Django ORM. Am I getting this wrong? All right, it should be after that like that. If I run this, oh. All right, that's going to have an issue. Damn it. Oh, where's my phone going off? No, I'm streaming. Okay. That did nothing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some temporary code. We're just going to do this. All right, we're going to put a breakpoint right here, and I am going to hit refresh when it works. And considering it's dark. All right, so we've hit this now. So permutation results is going to be all like that. I'm just really curious what the why it's not distincting it. Because yeah, it should be unless I need values list. And then at the end, I don't know. I honestly don't know. So we're just going to hit play. We're waiting for this. Yeah, we know that's going to be an issue. We're just going to hit play again. We've got a 500. Oh, all right, cool. Don't need that in there. We don't need that in there. So we now just wait. And now we've got our response. Oh, thanks, Socks. We do have our object results in here though, but they're all null. Ugh. All right, I'm going to get rid of all of that. Yeah, we don't want value list. All right, cool, no problem. Django ORM distinct. got distinct. All right, returns a new set query that uses select distinct in its SQL query. This eliminates duplicate rows from the query results, all that kind of fun stuff. All right, cool. So values list ain't gonna work. So we're gonna have that. What I'm going to do is, what's this? This is permutation result. So when we define it, filter dot distinct, I'm going to put that there. I don't know if that will work, but we'll find out. I don't think it will. No, it's definitely not working because we've got all the same results that come back, which is really annoying. Double checking all of this. So, oh, hold on. No, these are all with different IDs. Sprint object assignment ID 8. No. All right. Object assignment 9. Let's go select everything from NearBeach sprint object assignment. So it goes up to 9. Change user ID as a 2. That's the one I've just created. Sprint ID 5. And then 2. But these 8s came from there. Oh, it is that issue. Damn it. All right. It is that issue. Okay, this equals current object equals object dictionary, permutation, destination. That's all right. I'm just going to put a breakpoint there. We're just going to hit refresh. We're going to hit that breakpoint and we're going to be like, all right, cool. Let's have a look at the data I've got already. We should have very little data. And hey, Nocturnal, how are you? I found a weird issue. It's probably I've missed something somewhere type of weird issue. So we've got the sprint ID is 5. We've keyed that in here. So the object sprint results is just a 5. So we should have just one object from there. And if yeah, it's just the one object at the moment. Then the object assignment results, we're looking at any with project ID and any with task ID. Now the task ID, oh, that's the requirement ID. So that's none of the header stuff. And then in here, data permutations, I think I've missed something in here. So permutation results is current object. I think that's where I've missed it. And the current object, that's the open dictionary. I don't know what that's made of. that's filtering for that. I'm setting up all that data, but yeah, I'm just not filtering for it's not filtering for something here. All right, cool. This is where I'm going to go sprint object assignment sprint ID equals sprint ID. I think that's it. So I'm just going to hit stop and I'm just going to reboot the server. So let it do its thing. It's always one line of code. Always one line of code. All right, we're going to filter that. We've got the results back. If I have a look at the results, we've got one result left, which is the task done. All right, cool. So we did have a massive issue. Wasn't duplication. So what I'm going to do, I can't hard reset everything. I mean, I can. Just wait. Remove static first. Git checkout. Git status. All right. There's not much changes. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to go git checkout NearBeach because I've only made that one line of code change. I just want to make sure it's just this one line of code change, and we're just going to do that, and we're going to stop and rerun. All right, so going back here, we're just refreshing. We've got just the one thing there, and yeah, that should be working. If we go into the other sprint now, I should go to the, I'm just going to right hand click and duplicate tab. That's perfectly fine, and we'll just do that and that. This one's working perfectly fine. All right, sweet. I'm happy that we've actually fixed this. Yeah, we didn't limit. So I'm just going to write in the comment, issue caused by not limiting the sprint ID. I'm glad it was a simple fix. Don't need to do any of the dupe or anything like that. I'm happy. I'm actually happy. All right. So now that is done, let's go git add both of those, git commit, and then bug fix. We are going to copy that, and we're going to paste that, and we're just going to do git push. All right, easy done. Okay. Yes, Socks, we fixed the bug. Are you coming in? No, you're gonna. She's gonna run away. Okay. So that one is done. I'm happy with that. The next thing I want to sort of start doing is finishing off the unit tests, because that's literally the last thing which we're like, all right, cool, definition of done, we'll do those. So the other definition of done is we've got no more major or higher bugs in the system. We've pretty much completed most of the stuff off. So moving forward, if we were going to, we're going to continue building out the API in 0.31, and all those API changes will be ported straight into 0.32. I think that's the sort of best solution with the API. With the caveat that if we've got some of the table naming problems, and I'll come to that if it becomes a problem. Yeah, the idea is we'll build it out so everyone's ready for a complete API when we sort of do that conversion. Other things which we could potentially do. Why are you meowing and where are you? You're not there. I've lost my train of thought now. Sorry. Long day. Where was I? I don't know. Oh yes, so yeah, we'll continue with the building out of the API whilst we're also doing 032. I know that there might be some issues. Hopefully not too many. But the idea being is if we've got problems with data and stuff like that, and we're like, the API is going to make this 10 times simpler, we'll just switch that little component to actually hitting the API. Which we've done for the sprints, for example. All right. Yeah, I'm hoping to start the design this week too, and also looking at the database. So yeah, we'll flag things that we want to remove. We'll also flag things that could be done better. I'll have a look at sort of better practices around the database design. The next sort of step after, well, yeah, the UI and the database are probably the first two things that I'll have a look at, but we'll also be using Vite with 032, so Webpack will be completely and utterly removed, which will be great. It means we're just using one sort of one thing to do a lot of things. Yeah, I'll be glad when that is done. But once again, I've got to do some research with that. So yeah, essentially the only thing holding us back at the moment, completing the definition done, is we've just got to do 3 unit tests, and that's it. So yeah. So in here, API, we might as well start with the unit tests tonight. Yeah, once again, permissions are 100%. Some of these are at 100%, some of them not so much, and the reason being is we're not testing stuff like this. I mean, we could we could go through and do fuzzy testing to be like, all right, cool, these won't work and stuff like that, but yeah, we're not. We will implement fuzzy testing later, yeah, but that'll be a library in itself. Don't worry about that. All right, we have that one's done. That one's done. It's this one, the sprint link, the sprint API. Oh no, the sprint API is done. Sorry, the sprint link, the requirement item API view. So the requirement items we haven't done. It's going to be copy and paste from the requirement one. And we're just changing everything to item in there and changing the URLs and stuff like that. So that one will be pretty quick to do, and we'll just do that. And it's the sprint. What other one was not done properly? Or did I do it and I've forgotten that I've done it? Oh no, here we go. The object sprint API view. And that's it. That's all we got to do. 3. So yeah, let's jump into it. We'll do the easier one first because I don't have much time tonight. I've got to leave in about half an hour, so I've got to go somewhere and do stuff, which reminds me, I gotta check my phone, make sure things are still hunky-dory. All right, cool. All right, I'll answer that later. Okay. So, unit tests. We always find a bug when we do unit tests. I'm hoping we don't find a bug when we do these unit tests because I've got to finish in half an hour. We want to go to NearBeach, tests, test API, test user permissions, and then we've got this admin sort of tests that we're sort of doing. What we want to do is, so want to scroll down. We've got customers, we've got Kanban boards, we've got Kanban cards, we've got organizations. We've got to expand a few of the things and so forth like that. Yeah, like doing those sort of particular tests. However, that being said, this is permission testing. So for these particular unit tests, we're actually testing to see if the user's got access or not. We're not breaking down into being like, this user should be able to delete the notes and stuff like that. That's here. Yeah, so a lot of that specific functionality will be broken down into its own test. All right, so we've got project, we've got requirement, and we've got link test, and we've got an ad at the moment. So yeah, we're getting there. And this is the little rubber duck Socks was knocking off before. She's seen it now. She's probably going to attack it again, but not whilst we're on this screen. She likes to behave now. Whenever the camera's on her, she's like, oh, I gotta behave. I'm not the one causing trouble. She is, absolutely. So, yeah. About a minute left of the ads. Socks, the camera's... Wait. Camera's there. Yeah. No, the camera's... Oh, she's right there, sweetie. There's the camera. Yeah. Like, what is it doing there? I was like, I had to move it there. Because my monitor, I need to raise a little. I've just been lazy. Right, don't show people your butt. She's like, no. Not yet. She will get you guys. She will. She'll literally just show up to you. Alright, about 15 seconds left of the ads, and then we'll jump straight into it. Yeah, I'm hoping that requirement items don't take too long. There's not much to a requirement item. So, yeah. Alright, welcome back everyone. Let's jump back into it. So, we've got requirement, that's the link tests. We're going to go all the way down, and then we don't have one for the requirement items. So what I'm going to do, I am just going to copy all of this. I have my webcam on my arm. It peeks between the screens. On oh, not on your arm. Oops, I read that wrong. I did find that funny. You go up to people and you like having to do it like it's there, and you have to like do that during meetings. I did see that a little. Yeah, I should get an arm or something like that. At the moment, so I've got two monitors that are one above each other, and this, I put them there before the surgery, so I wasn't strong enough to tighten the bolts enough. So what I should do is drop the desk down again, move it out so I can get behind it, reshuffle everything and really tighten everything. But I'll also need Manila's help for that because I don't have the strength and I don't want to hurt myself again. So yeah, let's just say that. Yeah. All right, going with this, what we want to do is we want to scroll up. We want to go requirement data item, like so. We want to just go down here and we'll type in requirement item, and then we are going to get requirement. Ooh. All right, so we've got to change all these URLs and we've got to figure out what matches up to what and so forth like that. So I'm going to jump in as dark admin because we'll need access to everything. So we'll go localhost, we'll go dark admin, we'll just jump in, easy done. We'll find an object. We're actually going to find both requirements. I'm going to include all groups. So we'll also scroll down. We've got requirement items in here. I'm just going to open them up like this. We've only made one for each requirement. This is a very, very small fixture. So having a look in here, we've got this so far. We're all happy with that. We'll probably change a lot of this URL mapping and so forth in the future. I will open up a new tab. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go localhost API version 0. We want requirement. It's going to be 1. I'm just going to open it up like that. Oh, and I should type in requirement item like that. So that's going to be our get URL. So we've got requirement. This is going to be 1, and then requirement item, like so. If we wanted to create a new one, it's going to be requirement 1, requirement item, like that. We'll have requirement item title, requirement item scope, requirement item type, requirement item status. It won't have an organization, it won't have a group list. I think that's it. Let's just have a quick gander at, I'm just gonna go back very, very quickly. Requirement item, add that in, 1, 2, 3, 4, yep, that's it. Easy done, so it should be just those 4. And that should just work with the post. And then we've got the requirement item 1. This is a put, and then we'll go requirement item, and this is where we'll go back into the code, and this is definitely, yep, this is still 1. All right, so we're updating the first. Now in here, that should be requirement item, and I should do this the quick way. Nope. I've mucked up my my bindings then. No, I did it again. Down. Cool. Mucked them up completely. Item done. So that's just putting that in. I'm not too worried about the text in here in this sort of case. I think we'll do it just in case someone comes in and they look at these texts and they're like, hang on a minute, those aren't requirements, they're requirement items, and it just causes confusion beyond belief, which I really just don't want to deal with. All right, so we're going to go item update. We're going to go requirement and then requirement item. We're going to go 2 there. So that will work. And then we're going to go requirement item 2, which we'll delete. We'll need to add in cases where it's going to fail, like data not found, stuff like that. And the reason being is we need checks to make sure, hey, do you got the right object for this? Because when you're searching for these child objects, you'll need the parent object ID also. And that's by design. The idea being is you don't want to accidentally edit a wrong ID or anything like that. It sort of makes you get 2 IDs to double verify or double check. All right, no. So going through this, we add, we update, we delete. We don't worry about groups and users. Don't worry about groups and users. Don't worry about groups and users because it doesn't, at that level, it's inheriting the parent data. Right, for both users. All right, we don't need any of that. Link testing. All right, in here, you can actually do links. You can create a link to, let's say, a project or a task, and cool, that's awesome. So we're going to implement that in a second, but at the same time, I want to check the delete functionality in here. So I'm just going to do a couple of test cases where a couple will fail. So, and this is going to be that case where we have to test the fails first before we actually delete the data. So I'm trying to remember the fail code, and I'm going to have to actually look at the API itself. So going under views, and hello, Hansel Dev, or Hansi Dev, sorry. New viewer, hope you're good. I'm going good, thank you very much. Hopefully you're also going well. So yeah, we're just doing a quick stream tonight where essentially the only thing stopping us at the moment for moving on to 0.32 are a couple of unit tests. So yeah, just wrapping them up very, very quickly. And then, yeah, going to start redesigning NearBeach, which is going to be awesome. So yeah, going to fix all the mistakes I've made in the past. So yeah, I am excited. So I want to go into the API. I want to go into requirements API. We're going to go straight to the destroy section. And we actually don't do that check. All right, that's not good. All right, I think we do it for the card. Yeah, with the destroy, notice how we've got this sort of check where we go, all right, cool. We got the Kanban card, we'll filter everything, make sure that we get their board ID from the quags. And then we're checking the Kanban card ID also at the same time. And then if that doesn't work, we'll get a 404. That's it. Okay, cool. We're going to implement that very, very quickly because it needs to be implemented. I'm just going to shove that over there for reference. So in here, what we want to do is we want to go, I'm going to delete that. We need up here APK, and we're going to go requirement item equals, and this is requirement item dot objects. Oh no, we got to do the shortcut first. We're going to get object or 404 in here. That's not going to be a problem. I'll bounce these onto two different lines like that. We're just going to delete that, and we're just going to go requirement item dot objects dot filter, and of course we need is deleted equals false. That's going to be easy as, and then we'll need the requirement ID equals the quags and the requirement ID from the quags, because that will be in the URL itself. From there we just go like that, so it'll be a 404. And then what will actually happen is the requirement item is it should filter for it gets the object. Oh yeah. It'll get the object, and then we can be like, all right, for that object, it's deleted, change user, request user, item save. All right, I'll move on. Cool, done, and we'll be happy. So we do a couple of bad ones first, because they should not match up. And then we can do the proper good ones. However, that being said, then all of this functionality tests won't work because we're trying to actually connect something up into that. So if I go up here, requirement item, that's creating one. If I create a second one down here, we're going to create a new requirement item for number 2. And then if memory serves me correctly, it should then be 3 and 4. So going down here for number 1, it'll be 3, and then it'll be 4. That's assuming these tests are going in order they should. And that's assuming that I'm not doing any other requirement item changes on here. Once again, we're just checking permission. These specific issue, the delete's hard. I was gonna say that. Because I could pull all the delete tests out, run them in their own sort of test cases at the different levels, and rebuild the database every single time we run it. That way it's guaranteed that, hey, these are working how we want it to. I started web development. I learned HTML, CSS in 20 days and built a Dribble clone. Nice. I now learned JavaScript, built a weather ad. Ooh. I just want to know some valuable projects. Now, when you're saying valuable projects, that can be a bit subjective. Like, do you mean something people would want to buy off you, valuable projects, or do you mean something which will give you a mental challenge, valuable projects? So yeah. All right, so hopefully those run, and then we should be testing everything with that. Now, yeah, it'd be 2 or 4 content not found or something like. I forgot what 2 or 4 is off the top of my head. I'm terrible with these codes. http.cat 204 should be no content. There we go. Then we've got to add in the links themselves. So this will be requirement, and then I think requirement item link. That's assuming I built this in. Or it might be requirement item and then link. Oh, how did I do this? All right. Oops, socks. No, sweetie. All right, don't step on the keyboard. Thank you. All right, I'm going to put in a wrong URL purposely. And the reason being is I get to this particular page and I'm going to go /link/. Now we've got quite a number of links in here. So we've got API version 0, we've got the destination and then location and then the link. And there's nothing else in here. So in this sort of case, the children will be going to that particular link too. So we could quite literally just go like this, go boop, item, like that. So we can also do something like that where we get the link. We've got that. That will work perfectly fine. That will work perfectly fine. Oh, and this is where we've got to figure out those new links and stuff like that. And oh, yeah, we might need to actually move. All right, cool. So the one problem with the delete functionalities is if I delete something that exists, it means it's not gonna, other tests are gonna fail. So one way around that is you would state in one of your, if memory serves me correctly, Django unit test new database on test class. So you do something where you're just like, hey, either build a specific fixture for it. So yeah, you do either a specific fixture for it, or there is, I keep forgetting if there is a way to actually tell it, hey, use a clean database for this. All right, yeah. So there is a way. I just don't know what the links are going to... once again, once I delete these links, other users won't be able to... Yeah, alright, this is... It's going to be a to-do, essentially. Figure out how we can delete the links. Might need a separate fixture for this. So what I could do is I can set up a fixture with a lot of data in it, and just delete stuff and be like, all right, cool, these particular users, yeah, and that might be the case, and then move it out of here. And then I think that will work. All right, I'm going to put that in my to-do. So the good news is that won't block anything. That will be just extra functionality. I don't have unit tests on here, do I? I'm going to separate out all delete tests into new test class. And Dan's Matt, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Welcome, welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. We will be finishing up stream in about 7 minutes because I've actually got to go somewhere, sadly. All right, cool. So there is an issue with the unit tests where if we start deleting data, it could potentially fail other unit tests. A simple solution to this would be to extract out the delete tests into their own, and then we're just going to go fixtures and testing unit class. All right, cool. Then we can run these deletes against all the different user levels. All right, cool. I think that's a good idea. We'll put that as, I'm going to say hi. I'm going to put in with the tags both branches. Because yeah, we can do this at the same time. Oops, I forgot to actually hit save. Sorry, that's going to be hi, save. So yeah. Yeah, I'll be around Wednesday and hopefully Friday. So yeah, same time. I'm just going to, oops, shuffle these around. All right, cool. Yeah, that's the only problem with this, is that, yeah, I'll create a fixture where I can just delete a bunch of different data from it without having it affect other unit cases. Unit tests, sorry. Yeah, I just don't have the power in me to actually find all of those at the moment. With the notes, we've got this will be, yeah, requirement item, they'll be the same. There'll be requirement item, yep. All right, cool. I think that's a put, yep. We'll remove the deletes. And that should be it. All right, let's go Python 3, manage tests. We'll run the tests and I'll catch up on chat. And oh yeah, and thank you very much, Dan's Matt, for the follow. So yeah, greatly appreciated. I know I'm having trouble actually talking around socks at the moment. She's also still looking up. There we go. Actually, the valuable is going to be difficult, so I can't run away from that. Actually, these projects can improve your skills. Yes, they can. Make a better impression in the resume. time to me. Yep. So yeah, a recommendation I would do is build projects. They don't need to be necessarily large. They can be something very, very quick that you can do within, let's say, an hour to a day or something like that. And the idea is when you get better and better and better, to make these projects are going to be really super quick. And then you can start building bigger things that might take a couple of days. And so forth like that. And yeah, they're definitely great in interviews. I've used NearBeach in interviews before. People have asked me questions and I've been able to relay how I've actually solved problems that relate to NearBeach and stuff like that. People can also look at the code and be like, yeah, cool. Build tools in areas you want to understand. And yes, so, Nocturnal on the Twitch side of thing is saying build tools in areas you want to understand. Want to understand how HTTP works, build a HTTP server. So, yeah. All right, we've got a couple of fails. So, up in here, 403 does not equal 200. Okay. We've got the form wrong. That's all. So if I go back into here, this will be a lot of 403s. Test API requirement item data. We're sending. We've got the original form wrong and so forth. That's that. Okay, cool. Not a problem. Saying for 400, so it's a bad form. I'm trying to remember what data I'm expecting. But yeah, that should be easy to fix. That's just me screwing up something like the naming convention. That's actually a put. That's also a put. Cannot resolve keyword requirement term. All right. That's me doing a spelling mistake. There it is. That one's fixed. Easy done. So we'll move on to the next one, which is going to do requirement or requirement item. We are putting something in there, so we're updating some code, some values. We've got a 400 doesn't equal a 200. I'm going to snooze that ad because I don't want it popping up anytime soon. And it looks like it's 8:30. I've got to run. All right, cool. Let's go raid someone. All right, who's running at the moment? Ooh, I know who. All right, we're gonna raid Chili Can. Sorry, this is such a short stream tonight. I was tossing up whether or not to start streaming. I was like, you know what, I'll just do it, even if it's like 2 hours. And it is pretty much just 2 hours. So yeah, I've just got to run somewhere, got to do something. So yeah, anyway, thank you very much. I do hope you enjoy Chinikin's stream. So yeah, thank you very much, and I'll see you guys Wednesday for the full stream. And those on YouTube, thank you very much for being here. Sadly, you won't be able to join us, but yeah, I do hope you guys come back. So yeah, and terribly sorry, I am Rajput. I have got to run. So yeah, thank you very much.